Yo, this is Deontay the Bronze Bummer Wilder, heavyweight champion of the world, and you're watching Real Fans, Real Talk.
Face facts, what up, what up? Real Fans, realtalk.com. Where Arthur Diamonds, Trip Young, and intern Tom. For the white and black fans, Asia to Manhattan. I get all my facts from my bro, Mark the Stats Man. If you're not tuned in, I recommend the CAT scan. And if your brain checks out, then you deserve a backhand. Sports, gossip, all the hot topics. Real Fans, realtalk.com got it. They got the hottest bloggers. Is Jeremy Lin hurt? Well, log onto the site and you can hear it from them first. I'm talking about the latest. I'm talking about the greatest. Go check out the archives. Even tell a neighbor. Tell him Bobby sent ya. From spring to winter. Tuning in should be the only thing on your agenda. Certified cosign. You know what I'm about, son. Real Fans, realtalk.com. I'm out one. Real Fans, Real Talk. Real Fans, Real Talk. Real Fans, realtalk.com. Real Fans, realtalk.com. Real Fans, Real Talk. Real Fans, Real Talk. Real Fans, realtalk.com. Real Fans, realtalk.com.
What's going on? Welcome to another live episode of Real Fans, Real Talk. A lot of stuff went on this week in sports. Most of it we're not going to talk about because there was some nonsense that happened. But you know we're gonna get into that in a minute. We got a whole bunch of surprises for y'all today, including a Super Bowl champion that will be joining us. And go, I don't know. We got background music and whatnot today. You know,
somebody's a little excited back there.
Yeah, we got our technical director is a little too excited. You need to slow your roll, brother. We're going to give you your moment, all right? I put you on the gram earlier and just knock it off. You know, let me introduce my co-host right now. Mark the Statman Szuszkiewicz. What's up, man?
Mark the Salty Statman Szuszkiewicz. Some people would say. We got the. I mean, come on. You have to put the Eagles out there.
Right now? Can we do the intros first, Cliff? Jeez.
Wow.
This is what happens when you're technical director's an Eagles fan.
The trigger happy Eagles
You know
fan
what?
over here.
There's a saying, too. I believe it goes, the sun even shines on the dogs some days. I don't know if we can say that word on TV.
See, now I got to point out that it's their first championship in the history of the Eagles, which is 80 years.
First Super Bowl.
First Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, 50. So 50. It took 52 Super Bowls total for them to get one, and they're still tied for last in their division. Not even tied. They need to win one more to be tied for last in their division in Super Bowl wins with the Redskins. But we got Eric Sanchez back joining us.
Man, I'm happy to be back. Had a couple weeks off. Shout out to Cliff, man. Cliff, big time Eagles fan. He didn't give up hope even after Wentz went down.
Well, they never give up hope. They're always delusional.
We got to let him get his moment, though. We got to let him have his moment.
I gave him his moment. I put him on Instagram earlier.
He gets all summer. He gets all summer until
damn
August.
He
does. Come
damn
on.
the mustard.
Come on.
We're not going to play that game.
Here's how delusional Eagles fans are. He thought that just because the team won a Super Bowl that we were actually going to give him some type of respect for being an Eagle. Like he said, "Oh, you got to respect me now." I was like, "What?
Nice
like where? I mean, we
Ain't
respect
got
you
time
as
for
the
that,
director of the show. We respect
just
you
won a
as a
Super Bowl, and
person.
you guys
We
have
just
a
don't
second
respect
pick?
you as an Eagles
So
fan."
basically, your fandom was never respected by the
No,
whole
it wasn't
summer. It was never
Threw
respected.
snowballs at Santa,
Exactly. Who respects
which
that?
is why you were cursed.
Then
for
you got
52
people, you win a Super Bowl
We
for the
haven't
first
chosen
time.
Santa now. We just won.
It took 52 Super Bowls to get there, and then you go start ruining your own city. You breaking up Walmarts and convenience stores and flipping over cars and whatnot. You got no class. That's your problem.
The
If you
Eagles
actually won something every once in a while, you wouldn't act like that. But your fans, act like delusional fans.
Like
Yo,
Statman
Cliff,
said.
man. Have your moment in the sun. Enjoy that, man.
I saw a clip that
I
had
definitely will.
at the parade or whatever, the guy who was making his speech was dressed as a court jester.
Yeah.
Because they're clowns.
Listen,
I agree.
Listen, we can say whatever we want. Statman, you know this. You know this because I know this. If the Knicks were to win a NBA Finals, I don't know how I would act. So I'm never going to diss the
I'm
Eagles
not going to
fans.
destroy my own neighborhood or anything.
Listen,
like,
If the Knicks
as
won,
long as
it'll
we've
be
been
that
waiting,
outside
as
of-
long as we've been waiting.
too. Like you're rioting when you won. Like, what is the point of that?
If you waited as long as we have it, there's no telling what we would do.
It'll be that scene in the movie, the real slow motion emotional. You see the one tear drop from Statman's eye slowly rolling down his cheek. Tears of joy.
Philly
But
fans
we
been
don't-
waiting a long time.
Luckily, we don't have to worry about that anytime soon. The Eagles actually had a good team. The Knicks do not have a good team or anything that's close to a good team. All right,
Yeah, we don't
What
have.
did you just say, Trip?
Cliff, could you focus on being technical
can you say that
director?
again, please?
No,
One
you
more
be
time.
the technical director and stop trying to be on TV with us.
Please.
All right, don't
Please
nobody
say
want to
that
hear
again,
that
please.
nonsense. Keep that negativity
Can I
away
please
from me,
don't-
Cliff. Cliff, keep that negativity away from me.
Isn't the you went and insulted the Knicks? Isn't Cliff a Knicks fan? Why would he want you to repeat that again?
Exactly. Like, come on, Cliff, have a seat. Listen,
Did he forget
I don't got-
that
I don't
he
got-
was a
listen.
Knicks
That the
fan?
Eagles had a good team.
listen, I don't got
That's what
I don't got
okay.
time for all
That's what I
that.
want him to-
Cliff, we got a real Super Bowl champion in the building tonight. I don't got time for them
And he played for the Eagles too.
Yeah, but he won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks. One of the founders of the Legion of Boom is in the building tonight.
He played
All right?
for the Giants too, but
You know, well, he had a little injury for the Giants.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to have the full season, with Walter Thurman, because I think he would have did better, staying in New York and and running with Eli and those guys. But
instead of running it back an interception / touchdown
against them, it was
last
83
game.
yards.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that, Walter. Okay, you didn't have to do that, man. To your former team like that, but it is what it is. We gonna Cliff. You had your moment. That's it. Could you pull up the highlight tape so we could bring out one of the founding members of the Legion of Boom, Super Bowl champion?
We got to hear what he had to say about the game.
Yeah,
about the state of the
we need a real
NFL right
recap.
now.
He drove all the way back from Philly just to get up with us and talk about this Super Bowl.
He made
so
it out the
Cliff, if
city?
you would,
As
please
crazy it is over there.
let that beautiful beam footage play. right, welcome back. I know you're not just joining us, but just in case you are, we are back with Super Bowl champion, one of the founders of the Legion of Boom, Walter Thurman is in the building. And I got before we started, just we spoke about the little pick six you had against Eli and the Giants, but if my Giants fandom will not allow me to add that clip to that tape that you guys saw right there.
Hey, I completely understand. Hey, I know how it is.
Well, welcome to Real Fans Real Talk. We appreciate you coming out. We got a lot to get to because I know you were in Philadelphia. You was rocking out with the Eagles. I'm a little disappointed in that, but they were the last team you played for. So what was the energy like in Philly?
Oh man, it was crazy. It's a long time coming for those sports fans out there. They haven't won the big ship. And never. They got some championships. Before the merger and everything, but it wasn't good enough. They had nothing really to hang their hat on, like being competitors with the Giants and stuff like that, and the Cowboys and these other teams in other divisions. But it means a lot to the fan base out there for those guys coming in and coming through this time.
Definitely.
No. Yeah, something.
Wanted to take one of the fan mail questions since we advertised that you were coming on. One of our fans, Greg from Staten Island, wrote in, Walter, last year was your best year with statistically. Why did you retire so early? At the age of 28, I'm going to add, and also it's not because you weren't any good, because you had offers for up to $4 million, so you turned down the money and you retired after only 6 years. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was statistically it was my best year, but personally it wasn't my best. My technique was a little sloppy out there.
Well, you're also playing for the Eagles instead of the Giants, so I mean, you can't be happy playing for.
Yeah, it was a little tough, but it was just the injuries got the better of me. You know what I'm saying? After the wear and tear coming off that pec injury, I mean, I was looking forward to coming out with the Giants and stuff like that, and being able to set up shop here and everything. And
how did that happen? Lifting or?
It was in a game. We were playing against the Cardinals, and I went to go for a strip, and he turned the other way while I was pulling, and the tendon turned right off the bone. It was open shut case at that point. They knew on the sideline, like, your season's done for 6 to 8 months. At that point, so it was one of those things to going through the rehab again, and it's a lot that goes on. That the rehab process is more strenuous than actually playing and just getting ready for those games. You're there, 6 to 7 days a week. Which fans don't really get to understand that, when guys get hurt, these guys are here year round and don't have no break and just predicated on that the whole time. So that was one of the reasons why wanted to get out the shot, though, get out the game and stuff like that.
You had an ACL injury also in college?
Yeah, tore my ACL, MCL, PCL, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't fun at all. I don't wish that on anybody, having to go through that.
Spent a lot of time in rehab.
Yeah. Yeah, and then 2 years later, I re-break my leg once I get the opportunity to start for the Seahawks and stuff like that, and another setback, and came back and was able to win a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, and personally I thought that was one of my better years because I was just attention to detail and sound. I didn't get any touchdowns that year on the defensive side of the ball, so I took a lot of pride in that. To where my year in Philly, I gave up like 3, on some coverage situations, so I just hold myself to a high standard, and even though that I did have a statistical better year, and I was also playing a different position too. Playing safety and going out there and just kind of flying around, So it was just a different game, and just my first year going out there ever playing safety, done it here or there in practice, but nothing in a game. So that was a lot of fun, that being my last year, playing a new position and just being able to roam around in some cases,
I want to take you back to the beginning of your career, Walter. You guys were very young in Seattle, and that camaraderie that you guys had and what you built up was very special. Talk to us a little bit about those early years in Seattle with you, Sherman, Earl, Cam, Browner.
Yeah, I mean, you talking about a bunch of guys with chips on their shoulder. Even Earl was the first round. The second round in the first round draft that we picked up because we had picked up Russell Okung. He played with a chip on his shoulder. He came in. He got drafted. He was 20. He can't even go to the bar and get a drink when you first get in there. But but he had a lot to prove. Same thing with Cam getting drafted in the 5th round. I'm getting drafted in the 4th round. Sherm getting drafted in the 5th round. Browner coming out of the CFL. He got a brief little stint there for his career, and he came back and had a second chance. So it was a bunch of guys that were hungry, and we just played with that camaraderie and that brotherhood. And we just pushed each other on the field and off the field, and that was the biggest thing. And you see a bunch of these guys like, Earl and Cam, you're going to be, they're going to get in the Hall of Fame just for what they brought to the game and how they play every year, So, I mean, it's great to be part of those guys and getting drafted in that class and stuff like that and seeing what they were able to accomplish. And then you look at Sherm as well, another guy who's going to go be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And you say even Brandon, if he would have played longer, he had the potential to be able to go that same route too, just from the short time that he was in the league. And his stats showcase that, And so it was a lot of fun playing with those guys. Yeah.
Who came up with the name Legion of Boom?
I don't know. I think it just popped up out of nowhere. To be honest, though,
A lot of times it's someone in the media.
Yeah, it was
it
just
made
random. I mean,
sense.
you have Cam coming out there and playing the way that he does, and just line dudes up. So I mean, just kind of like that Ray Lewis back in the early 2000s. That mindset of running backs were just they're kind of a little timid going against Ray Lewis when they play with him. Same thing with Cam. You weren't trying to come across the middle, and you weren't trying to come any kind of path. Like he was gonna put you down, I've seen him destroy linemen. Those are some of the plays that fans don't get to notice. They see the receiver getting hit downfield or whatever, but I've seen him blow up, 320-pound linemen. Like they were, $190 or something. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you talk about Cam just patrolling that middle and destroying guys. When you guys beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl, you feel that hit he put on Demaryius Thomas kind of like took their heart at that moment? It was early in the game, but that hit was so big on him, it was almost like...
It was
never
big
came
on
back
big,
from
because
that.
Demaryius is a big dude, too.
Yeah, he's a big receiver.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was one of those things. I mean, we were flying around all week, We came there strictly for business that Thursday before that game, Everyone was locked in. We had a good grasp of what they were going to run on their offense, and it just played out how we practiced for it, honestly, And then that first hit was a statement to let you know, like, if you're coming through here, Cam's gonna be here all day.
It's gonna be a problem.
It's gonna be a long,
it's
long
gonna
day.
be a long one. It's gonna be a long one, And that just from a psychological standpoint takes a toll on those guys, because dudes don't want to get hit in the mouth like that,
Not at
And
all.
the way that he hits, he'll put you down. It's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
Going back even further to like your high school days, you were a pretty good wide receiver as well.
Yeah, dabble a little bit. Yeah. I want to play a little bit in the league. Yeah.
I see how happy you are with that. It's like you want the glory of the touchdowns and everything, and some of the other guys don't always get that glory, especially linemen. That's what I did in high school and semi-pro, whatever. But I mean, did you choose defense because you were better at it, or is it just how did that happen?
My favorite player is Randy Moss. I'm so happy to see him get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He should have been in there out the gate. He changed the whole game of defenses played. You have to send two guys and just keep him back because he's gonna run past both those guys. And he wasn't scared to go across the middle. So I mean, I kind of emulated my game from an offensive standpoint and took that to the DB side too. If the ball's in the air, go get it. Get like Randy Moss. Go get Moss. Just taking that mentality on the defensive side of the ball. But it was I only had one scholarship to play receiver though. It kind of hurt. You know what I mean? No, I gave the scholarships like San Diego State or Idaho State, and I just chose
preferred Oregon.
Yeah, and I took the scholarship to go to Oregon and play DB, and I just figured that would give me a better chance, just longevity wise, getting into league and stuff like that. Because playing corner is one of the toughest positions out there. You know, and especially if you want to be able to play a long time. Then you have that opportunity to you play nickel, you can stretch your career out some, and you can transition to safety because it's kind of interchangeable positions. So I was fortunate to be able to play all three of those positions. To be able to.
I'd say it
my career
worked out
though,
for you. You made the right choice. You got the Super Bowl ring. Now, when the Seahawks went back the following year, I know. That controversial play call at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Did you speak to any of the players after that? Like, did they feel like Marshawn should have ran the ball in?
All right, I talked to Marshawn. You already know how he feel about that.
Of course. Yeah, so, I mean, beast mode. That's it. Get the Skittles and let's go.
I mean, it's I think it was like second down. You're on the 4-yard line, and you had a bunch of time, so you might as well just give it to him all three times. I mean, he's gonna get in there.
At some point,
at some point,
And even if he didn't, you still went with your best option.
Option. I mean, it's just too tight down there to try to throw the ball in one of those pockets. And some of those route combinations, you prepare for those during the week, so you know when they're coming. It's not too surprised if you're studying and doing your homework at that place, and they were doing their homework, and they came in and jumped the route, and Brandon was on the opposite side of that.
Absolutely, yeah. He's the one who actually jams up the receiver.
He got a nice jam on there to stop that crossing route, and Malcolm Butler just came in there and just swooped it. So
the oddest part of that is like the play before Marshawn actually got like 4 or 5 yards on a running play to get him down to the
They couldn't stop him on the run. They couldn't stop him. So
he was having a big day.
Yeah, I don't understand why you don't hand the ball off.
I think that was one of those decisions that ranks up there with Belichick not playing Malcolm Butler in this year's Super Bowl.
Very close.
Close, yeah.
Do you feel a lot has been made of friction within that Seattle locker room? Was that something that was there when you were there, or was that something that developed over time? Where Sherman has been quoted as saying him and Wilson just have a working relationship, and it's been talked about that the defense kind of feels like the offense is getting baby through the situation there.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't. Can either. He's in the right line. You know, I mean, it's business. It's work at the end of the day. You know, you come here, you do your job. You know, everyone's accountable for their actions. You know, and it's just that mindset. You know, and it's keeping everyone accountable and not playing towards. It's a tough business. You get the media component to where guys have to handle that. You know, and you want your guy to be. Your guys to be mentally prepared for that week and not having to worry about what the fans are saying or what the media is saying. 'Cause that stuff has an effect on the players and stuff like that, you know. And just in general, those guys are a real tight-knit group, you know, once it does come to protecting their team and stuff like that. So when it gets Sundays, you know, all the other stuff is out the window. You know, we come together as a team and, you know, and putting our differences aside, if there are any differences, and we have one objective, and that's to win the game, you know. So it's always putting in perspective when it's time to show up for work, you know.
Now, we're big video game players here.
Okay.
We just did our 2K tournament, but
y'all play NHL? You play the hockey?
I do actually.
I get down on the hockey.
I only play Madden and 2K.
Okay.
But we're thinking about doing the Madden tournament. But so I went online. I went back because I had to go back, and I'm checking your rating on Madden. It's pretty good. You had a 94 one year. You had a 91 one year, and they said if you got 2 interceptions on Thanksgiving, it'll go up to a 97. So was your mindset in the game ever? I need to boost my stats up on Madden. Let me get this extra interception here.
I stopped playing Madden a couple of years prior when I was really out there starting and stuff like that. But
okay, you didn't want to lose focus.
I just lost interest. Didn't really play that much and stuff like that, you know. But I did get back on picking up the sticks, and I've been playing the hockey actually, especially being in Philly.
Okay,
a bunch of those guys out there, Flyer fans and everything like that, you know. But interesting sport though.
They say some players talk about their Madden rating. How is that in the locker room? Is there ever any smack talk about it? That's why your Madden rating is only 79.
Oh, you will have some smack talk. Yeah, I mean, you have the receivers versus the DBs out there going in at practice. You know, anything can be said at that point. You know, it's just pure competition, and guys just come from culture, just, you know, clowning and making jokes and stuff like that. You know, so any ammunition is all ammunition. You know.
who? I mean, I would assume it would be Richard Sherman, but if not him, who was the king of smack talk in the locker room?
Nah, man, everyone talks smack. I mean, it's tough to pinpoint one person. It's just Richard got the reputation because of that, you know, that NFC Championship game, you know.
Doug Baldwin looked like a big talker though.
Doug can talk, yeah.
Doug looked like a big talker.
Yeah, he may be a small stature, but he'll give you that business out there, you know, and he'll talk smack behind you too, you know. So.
You talk about the NFC Championship game. Everyone knows the game against the Niners where Sherman gets the tip. You guys had a pretty intense rivalry with the Niners for like 2 or 3 years, but you guys were the best 2 teams.
Yeah.
Talk about that rivalry and then obviously getting over the hump and beating them to go on to the Super Bowl.
I mean, it was huge because, I mean, they went back to the NFC Championship 3 years in a row. You know, they were in the Super Bowl the year before,
Mm-hmm.
so, I mean, there's a lot riding on the division and just, like you said, that rivalry and stuff like that, you know. And we felt like, I mean, as it played out, it felt like that was like the Super Bowl, you know, because it came down to the last play of the game, and it was, you know, hard fought through the whole thing, and it was the number 1 defense and number 2 defenses going at it. So it was like whoever was going to win that game had the strong chance to go out there to win the Super Bowl that year, you know. So I mean, it's when you kind of look back at that and seeing that, it's like, dang, like, that was kind of like that Super Bowl moment. That felt more like the Super Bowl after it was all said and done than the actual Super Bowl moment, you know, of what the Super Bowl was supposed to be, like the Patriots. The Seahawks game, or even the Patriots and the Philly game, you know, it comes down to the last play to where it's not over until that clock strikes 0, you know.
Do you ever think, like, a little bit of regret that you retired because maybe if you stayed with Philly, you'd have another ring to add, or?
You know, I mean, I dabble with the thought, you know, of getting in shape and get ready for the end of the season and jumping on a contender.
Revis just did it, so
hey, you know, like,
it's not a bad move.
And Philly was one of those teams we're looking at. You know, I had Tampa Bay up there too. Beginning of the season, they looked nice on paper. Mm-hmm. You know, I was gonna go out there and play with my guy T.J. Ward that I went to college with. You know, so that would have been a cool little deal. But no, I never pulled the trigger. Got caught up in a music headphone tech company that I started called Fan Stereo. Mm-hmm. So I've been spending a lot of time with that and getting that going and stuff. So it was everything worked out though. I'm still happy for the guys down in Philly. I thought when I came down there that, you know, there's going to be opportunity, but, you know, the offensive line wasn't as strong as it was. But it's that same team though.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of the same guys.
It's a lot of the same guys, especially in that core, you know. But they got that offensive line tied up, you know, and you seen where Doug Peterson was going to do, and I mean Nick Foles came up there and stepped up.
Yeah.
You know, when the whole city doubted him. When Wentz went down, everyone was down Foles, and it's funny to see that, just talking to these guys and like hating on Foles and not thinking that he's gonna take him to the championship, and he proved them all wrong. You know, so it was.
Well, I mean, he has it in him. He played well for them before. It's just the consistency factor.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think one of the questions I was going to ask you, after somebody wins a Super Bowl, after somebody gets a big contract, do you think sometimes maybe their work ethic kind of falls off or their ego kind of gets the best of them? Have you seen that with certain players?
I mean, yeah, that happens. You know, and it's just human nature, just that allure of the money and the fame that comes with it. You know, and some guys are able to withstand that. You know, and be able to pursue and still grind and still be hungry and not complacent within that situation. You know. Earl and Cam Chancellor are two of those guys. You know, they got big contracts and they still came out and upped their level of play. You know, within that. You know, so guys can take in that compensation for what they work hard for. You know, and still continue to perform at a high level. You know, and that's the one thing I do respect with Earl having a chip on his shoulder. He came into the league talking about, I'm gonna be a Hall of Famer. This is our rookie year. Yeah. You know, and
that's the mindset you kind of got to have.
Yeah, that's the mindset he had, and you see him every year. I mean, he made the Pro Bowl, and then he was a first team All Pro, and then he just year after back, you know. So he just he made it happen, you know.
Yes, definitely. Now you mentioned the headphones, the fan stereo joints. I gotta say, I got my little sis Danshay. She sent me a pair over. I love the headphones. They got the Bluetooth joints.
You gotta
send me the address. I'll lace you guys up.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah. I got them in my pocket. I had them on the train ride over here, so they definitely on point. And I seen y'all got Lil Boosie and Ayo and Teo.
Lil Boosie and Ayo
repping the brand now.
So like it's a celebrity lifestyle branded headphone. You know, we partner up with a bunch of different artists, musicians, athletes. You know, so it's helping these guys. You know, record sales are down right now. You know, everyone is streaming music. You know, they have to make their living on making tours and stuff like that. You know, and so it's just helping provide a different alternative revenue stream. You know, a bunch of these companies are, giving them a little endorsement here and there and making, hundreds of millions of dollars off their likeness and image and stuff like that. You know, and it's just trying to, kind of give an education aspect of like, you're a brand, you're a business. We're all brands and businesses, and that's what the emergence of social media has told us, because there's a lot of social media influencers and people with followings and being able to get their craft off the ground, and so it's an interesting time and age of technology, to where everyone has the opportunity to be able to make a great living doing something they love to do, So it's one of those things to just being able to encourage that.
At what point in your career did you know you wanted to transition into the tech world?
I've always dabbled in the space growing up, just football and sports just took more of the forefront than anything. So it was kind of everything was predicated off that. Off season, I'm studying film, or I'm studying the tech space. Just getting myself ready for when I do retire, I can hit the ground running. And one of those things with me having these injuries, I spent a lot of time, researching and learning because I wasn't on the field.
So
I'm laid up in the house or whatever. A bunch of extra time. So I mean, I played 3 years. I played 6 years in the league, but I actually only played 3 on the field. The other 3 I was in the streets and getting healthy and learning a craft for life after football. Because I mean, at the end of the day, the average is only 3 years. So it's one of those things to kind of put in perspective, especially when I tore my knee. That put everything in perspective because I'm sitting here like even overly optimistic, like I can get drafted, but still like maybe I don't get drafted. I'm damaged goods now in the eyes of the league. So it's it was a lot of different things transpiring within that with that ideal, and I just wanted to get myself prepared for life after football.
What do you think about because I know talking about the injuries, we know that the concussions are probably one of the biggest hindrances that football is having right now. Mm-hmm. So is there any way that the NFL can make the game safer without taking away from the essence of football?
The essence of football is built on violence and mayhem. So it's like you really can't make a vicious game safe. It's like trying to make war safe. At that point, boxing safe. I mean, there's ways to be able to avoid some of those contacts. Especially with boxing, you block and you get your head out the way so you don't take those repetitive hits. Mm-hmm. Same thing in football. It's just getting back to the basics of technique. They're trying to alleviate some of that aspect, but back in the day, I think it's like 1912, they almost banned football out of the states of America. Yeah. Because they had 12 deaths that year just from playing the game, So I mean, you see the severity in the sport, but and the game has lined up a little bit. But we're creating warriors out here. You know, guys are getting bigger, faster, stronger every year. You know, and everyone's coming out. The parents are training them at that age. You know, to we're gonna have this shot and opportunity to be able to get a scholarship to go to school or make it to the NFL and be able to provide for the family and stuff like that. You know, so we're just creating a culture to where it's more and more. It could be vicious if they don't have these little different things in place, but more importantly, it's just the technique of the game that has to change. You know.
What do you think? So because I have this debate constantly as far as helmet-to-helmet collisions. As a defensive player, you're taught to go down, hit with your shoulder, and wrap and tackle, whatever. And sometimes, as an offensive player, you're taught to bring your head down, get lower so you can truck somebody, and it's just like there's no way to plan for a helmet-to-helmet collision. Like, it's not like you're looking to lead with your head because that hurts you too. You see defensive players get injured.
Yeah.
And it's not like your intentions are necessarily helmet to helmet. It just sometimes it turns out that way. Is that fair to say, or do you, because someone else is like, no, they go head hunting and they want a helmet to helmet. Like, I mean, is that fair to say that defensive players aren't trying to, and it constantly it happens incidentally?
Yeah, I mean, you have guys that you're going to try to avoid some of those hits, but sometimes it's just. It happens. It's just part of the game,
Yeah.
I mean, and then you also have guys that that do hunt out there, and that's just the
care.
mentality of the game. Again, it's if you step between those white lines, it's you got to protect yourself at all costs.
The best way to make you ineffective is to take you off the field.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the whole concept of the game. And if
Brandon Cooks leave the Super Bowl because of a hell of a hit.
Big hit.
Yeah, and that was just his head wasn't on a swivel. He's running around trying to avoid these guys over here, not knowing that these guys are coming over here, and that's just the reality of the game right there, just in that one play. So it's unfortunate when you see guys go down like that, But you do understand like that's the consequence for playing, and everyone who signs up to play understands that, And it's
Do you agree with the penalty being put in place though?
I mean, it depends on the situation, because there are some situations to where that you could avoid it and it deserves a penalty,
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you see it in college football. If a guy gets that, they're getting ejected right out the gate. You
kind of see it in slow motion, but a lot of times you can't really determine, the intentions.
Yeah, the slow motion does the game no justice. Because you're seeing it. They're all like, "Oh, look at him! He could have got out the way."
Yeah.
It's go.
It's
when it
like
happens,
this,
it's a blink of an eye.
Quick second,
you have to
over.
react so quick. So I mean, it's that gets a little bit skewed when you see that a replay on. That's in slow motion, because you think that like, oh, this guy could have got out the way, he could have did this, but in theory, it makes sense he could have, but the game is going so fast out there.
It doesn't work like that.
You're trying to take him down, and you're just lowering your head to make a tackle, and sometimes it just happens.
That way, yeah, for sure.
Do you feel you were a physical player yourself on the defensive end? How do you feel about the concussion protocol and the way that's being handled by the league?
I mean, it goes. It's a business, and it goes both ways, because you have guys who get hit and don't want to go through that protocol and want to stay in, because the game and culture has been like it's tough man's game, and you've been taught to just shake it off, growing up, before concussions really became mainstream and people started talking about it and stuff like that. It was one of those things to where you just dust yourself off and you got back in there, So it's just guys just understand the gravity of what the concussion does, and how it affects you in the long term, to where guys, if they do get it wrong, they will take themselves out, But there's a lot of pressure that's in the game because you have some guys that are trying to make a living.
Yeah.
They get their
contract,
or there might be an undrafted free agent who's on a team who's getting an opportunity to start, and the game's all about getting tape. You got to get tape and get reps out there for you to get cut or get picked back up or whatever the case may be.
Lose your position too.
You lose your position. So I mean, you have guys that that plays a factor towards like, dang, I can't get hurt. You don't make it in ice tub is one of the sayings.
Yeah.
So you just can't make it because guys are constantly coming in and coming out, and these organizations are it's all predicated on making hundreds and millions and thousands of dollars, and they want the best guys to give them a chance to be able to put the fans in the seats, at the end of the day. So
now I know that one of the other issues that's going on right now in football, Colin Kaepernick led the torch, the whole kneeling during the anthem. What did you think about it when when he first did it and to where it's at right now?
I mean, I think it was initially to bring awareness, utilizing your platform, more importantly for communities of people who have reached out for decades now about these type of situations and issues and going unheard, and him seeing an opportunity to utilize his platform and the viewership within that to make a statement, to speak up for the little guy at the end of the day, you know? And some of these guys in the locker rooms, they're affected personally. It is their sister or their brother that are going through some of these situations who lose their life in these aspects. So it's not, it's like it's, you know, third party and they're representing someone else. Like, this is close to home, and we're tight-knit brotherhood to where it's like if my brother's going through something, to where I'm going to care and empathize within his situation. You know, you have a bunch of guys that are black, white, you know, Asian, whatever the case may be, coming together within that, you know, within the locker room and stuff like that, having each other's backs and stuff. So I think the point of making that, bringing attention and awareness to it, you know, I think that happened, and I think they were able to pay the respects to the vets like everyone wanted within that situation.
Yeah.
Again, he got the idea from a military vet.
Yes.
You know, so it was somebody that wasn't a vet who gave him the idea to be respectful of taking the knee.
Yeah.
And that's what, you know, fans don't even see that aspect, you know, because they want to create it to a situation for whatever the case they want, you know.
Yeah.
But he went through, he did it the one way of actually, you know, sitting down, being more disrespectful within that, and he reached out to fix that problem. And he did it in a respectful way of taking the knee within that aspect.
The knee in some ways is more respectful than standing, because you go to church, kneeling, you know, praying, respect, you know, even an injury, players get down on one knee, or when you speak to your coach, huddling up, you'd get down on one knee. So it's not disrespectful to be on one knee. So
I mean, then at that point, if we're really nitpicking, I mean, you have people that are all over the place that aren't even taking knees. They're standing around, walking, taking pictures, talking, doing whatever the case is. I mean, if you're holding everyone accountable, hold these people accountable too. Don't pick out someone who's doing something that's trying to bring attention or awareness or whatever the case may be. If we're holding everyone accountable, then hold everyone accountable. Let's not hold this guy accountable and not hold person that we think that's in a higher regard than everyone else. Yeah. We're all people. We're all the same. At the end of the day.
The second part of Tripp's question, though, is what it evolved to now in this huge... Is this person who's standing, who's sitting beforehand, and you know, what do you think as far as what it evolved to now?
I mean, I'm not. I know Malcolm Jenkins has been one of the forerunners and leaders with the liaison between the player rep and with the owners and stuff like that. I know they've been in talks and compromise, but I'm not sure privy to those details as far as the actions taking step forward. I think that's just more of a awareness to where it needs to be looked at from a governmental standpoint. You know, cities, you know, governing their, you know, police force and holding them accountable. Because the whole thing's about accountability now. You know, that's what we're talking about. So it's, you know, something has to happen within that structure to where you have guys that are just able to jump into this service that we put in such high regard with minimal training. You know, and knowing that, you know, that they're going to be put in hostile situations. How can you handle a hostile situation if you've never been in a hostile situation, you know, or you're patrolling a very underprivileged socioeconomic area, and what goes on in that situation if you've never been there and experienced that situation? You're going in there walking on eggshells because you don't know the landscape of where you're going, you know. So there's a lot of different things that can be done to help that situation on both sides, you know. It just comes back down to accountability.
As far as like, because I mean, you did mention like the government and all of that. You know, we've seen the president. He had a few issues with the NFL this season. He called them, you know, sons of bees and whatnot. And you know, as a result, we saw Golden State decided not to go to the White House for the visit. And now we already saw
a lot of Eagles
Chris
already
Long,
come out,
Malcolm Jenkins, Torrey Smith said they weren't going. They said it was a couple of more. Would you have gone? Because I know I mean, he was a different president in office. When you went. But would you have gone to the White House if your teammates weren't going, or like, what would you do in that situation?
Oh man, it's an interesting situation. You know, it's the whole aspect of what the country has become is kind of interesting. You know. We've opened up the floodgates to allow anyone become president, you know, and be the most disrespectful within that space. and we don't really care at that point, you know. So then it's like, why do we care about these NFL players taking a knee if we don't even care about the person who's in charge at that point, you know? So I mean, at the end of the day, we need to all as individuals just figure out that aspect of what we want and what it means to us and what we stand for at the end of the day, you know. And as far as going to the presidency, if I was part of the team, yeah, I don't know, you know. I think.
You had a little more swag in the office when you went there. You know, my main man Obama was up in there, so.
You know, I mean, just being at the White House was a great experience anyway, you know. And if it's something to where if the guys aren't going to go during that time because of who's in office and stuff like that, they should still take the time to try to get back into the White House and see that aspect, you know, because of just what it stands for, you know, being American and stuff like that, and just that process of all the world champions that play in professional sports in America have gone through that space. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's yeah.
Just
if half the team was going, the other half wasn't.
Yeah, right. Man, I go see Trump. I see what he's talking about, man. He's talking his nonsense. You know, I mean, at that point, it's free trip. So
I forgot who it was.
DC, nice spot though. So
I know Charles Barkley says it's an honor to just be in the White House, no matter who the president is, and I don't know if it was him or someone else also added that it would be good for them to actually talk to the president and voice their issues, and you know, to get a different understanding, you know, behind the scenes what really goes on, instead of, you know, the selective things that we hear, or you know, out there in the media and everything. But
yeah, I mean, it would be a great opportunity, especially talking about Malcolm Jenkins being that guy that's leading that forefront, and he just won the Super Bowl, you know, and being able to maybe be that voice of reason and talk on the behalf of the people and stuff like that, you know. They could, you know, have a conversation.
He's also one of those guys to think about, yeah. Just called,
and there is a microphone right there on set. You could go and bring the topics up right there.
I'm sure he wouldn't address them at that moment. Just to circle back real quick, you played against Cap during his best statistical seasons.
Yep.
Is he good enough? Should he be a starting quarterback right now? And do you feel he'll get another opportunity?
I mean, he can play in this league for sure. You know, I mean, he took the Niners to the 3 consecutive NFC championships and then to the Super Bowl. You know,
yeah.
I mean, granted they have great defenses, but I mean, he still was averaging 25 points a game or something like that, you know. So I mean, he was putting up points and being able to rely on that defense as well. I mean, he for sure can play in this league, you know. There's some quarterbacks that had some very subpar years, you know, and he could easily have been a backup and had that opportunity to help a team out, you know. But again, there's that political aspect and stuff like that to where it's business, you know.
Do you feel that now with some time that has gone by that he'll get that shot though?
I mean, I seen something that Goodell said that it's up to the discretion of the owners to let him back. So I mean, if he's saying that that means that was one of those things where they didn't have someone to hush of not getting him back in. If he's saying that, so I mean, if a team is looking for that opportunity to have a quarterback that's been there, even from a backup standpoint, I think there's 32 teams out there, and I think he can get on one of those at least.
Yeah, he definitely deserves to be at least a backup. Do you think he's good enough to be a starter though?
I mean, he's gonna have to compete. You can't just give anybody. Yeah, he has to go out there and compete. You know, I mean, even if I was owner, I would have him go out there and compete for the job and not just be able to give him a job. You know, so I mean that goes for all quarterbacks. You know, at that point, you know, some quarterbacks out there get complacent. They feel like they're gonna be out here and throw the game away. I mean, my man's did it a little bit at the game and stuff, but yeah, I think he could play though for sure.
All right. Well, it is Black History Month. We like to do our spotlights. So we got a little video. Harlem Globetrotters, you know, one of the long-standing basketball teams. They put a lot of work in New York and all over the country and the world. So we're gonna play that video for you guys really quick. And when we come back, we're gonna have Ladybug out with us. She got some rumors she's gonna get to for the rumor mill. So make sure you guys are following us. RealFansRealTalk.com. Facebook.com/RealFansRealTalk, Twitter, Instagram @RealFanTalk, and of course subscribe to that YouTube channel, YouTube.com/ForTheFans Productions. You know, we put all the episodes up on the YouTube channel after, so you can watch the interview with Super Bowl champion Walter Thurman over and over again on the YouTube channel. But guys, let us know when you're ready, and we're gonna rock and roll.
Ladybug.
It all began in 1926. America's home team was born. Barnstorming the countryside, battling tremendous adversity, defeating numerous opponents and becoming world champions. They defeated the odds and soon became American icons. From their humble beginning 90 years ago to now, traveling to 6 continents and 122 countries. They have entertained over 140 million fans. They are America's home team. They are the Harlem Globetrotters.
All right, welcome back once again. It seems that even with the Super Bowl champion on the set with us, we still get tweeted and messages on Facebook. Where's Ladybug?
Yeah.
Why is Ladybug not on the set? We want to hear the rumor mill. Listen, the Super Bowl's over. Football season is done. Let's just get to it. So without any further ado, Ladybug, what's going on?
What's up, guys? As always, it's your favorite Ladybug. Another week of Real Fans, Real Talk. But you know I had to stop. I had to stop and do this for my man Cliff. Because I said this last week.
Did he pay you to do this?
No. And I wore, if we could go back last week, I wore green. And I just wanted to make it known that, I wasn't no hype beast. I wasn't jumping on no bandwagon. I was on the record that I said the Eagles going to win. I was very shut. I got you, honey. I got you.
When y'all see Ladybug's
but
that's
for the
all
next
I'm
3
saying.
Weeks,
y'all gonna know why.
Oh, you see? And that's what happened. There was you see what happened?
Ladybug is always almost on suspension.
You see why I can't live.
At least once a month, Ladybug's getting suspended.
I can't win with y'all. But I just want to say shout outs to the Eagles. Y'all got it, and I just had to go. This is not really the rumor mill. It was really blown out of proportion, but it was like 80% true. Philly went crazy. And that's literally, Philly went crazy. They destroyed a lot of property. Y'all need to get a little bit together. I know y'all won, but there was a lot of properties destroyed, cars turned over. It was crazy.
Yeah, police officers dapping up the fans.
Eagles fans. Like, you don't see that when the Yankees with the Giants win the championship. We get drunk, we celebrate at the parade, we celebrate in our own way. We don't flip over.
But it was for all of you put downers. That was just the amp.
Ladybug, what you got for us on the room, Mel, please?
Look.
I just told you,
sorry.
football season
I'm
is over.
gonna have
That's
to
it.
run my
It's
time
over.
out and just say what's true and what's happening, and that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, like I said.
Yeah, we mentioned
I'm
that.
just saying.
We gave Cliff his
I'm just.
30 seconds.
I didn't give. I wasn't here,
no
so
one
I just
cares,
had to make
okay?
that known. Anyway, shout outs. Moving on. Anyway. We have to give 2 big congratulations. You know, I love to celebrate new life and all that good stuff. First and foremost, J.R. Smith, he's having a girl. He announced they did the gender reveal, so congratulations to him on having his girl. You know, you need to put your shirt on more now, Papa. Your daughter can't be seeing that. That's all I'm saying.
He was at the parade a few years ago with his daughter with no shirt on.
But I'm saying, we gotta get better. We gotta get better. That's all I'm saying. You know, you got another one. We gotta get better. It's not cute. But another congratulations, Alonzo Ball, his girlfriend. They confirmed that they are having a baby. She's 4 months pregnant.
Big baller brand.
Yeah, and they are definitely.
Did LeVar okay that? LeVar didn't okay that?
I don't know if he was in the room.
I don't know if he. Yeah.
I don't think he was in the room. I think that was just, you know, his own big
He's supposed to pick his grandbabies. You don't just give him.
Yeah, he don't. You just can't be out there getting pregnant with your girlfriend.
Exactly. It don't work that way. Not
well, no, they were high school. Family. They were high school sweethearts. You know, she supported the families. You know, very fond of her. That was, you know, the rumors. The family's very fond of her. You know, they're expecting to, you know, reveal the gender, and I guess, you know, they're gonna be traveling since he's overseas, and they're gonna make it work. So congratulations. Congratulations on that note. But we're talking about that. How do you feel about this now? Like, you know, he went overseas. He's doing this now. He got the baby on the way. Do you think he's going the right? You think it's the right?
Nah, Lonzo's here.
You're right. It's the other brothers, 2. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, but how is that now? Just coming in, he's with the Lakers now.
Baby, he good. He got nice contract.
Yeah, my only concern would be, you know, he's so young in the game. You know, the time that it's going to take for him to perfect this craft and become the player that they expect him to be, and then try to be a family man. Like, it's going to take a toll on him.
And I think, like you said, the media eye is going to pick at every single thing. Like, everything that happens from...
It might get him focused. You know, he might want, listen, I want to stick around in this league for a long time. I want to show my child that, you know, listen, your daddy came into this league and he did everything he wanted to do. So it might help him, you know, get back on this game.
You think that's just going to be like...
I don't know. I would hope so anyway.
Or LeVar can continue to dictate everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that's.
Well, LeVar he's gonna raise his baby anyway. He's not, you know, Lonzo got to
have him in the lab, like.
Oh, he's training him right now. Get them hammies loose right away.
Yeah,
you guys. Anyway, congratulations.
He's not gonna be burping. He's gonna be doing burpees. Baby.
So, question. This is a rumor. I want to know the guy's opinion. You know, we got stat man. They really keep it honest with me. Le'Veon Bell wants $100 million to pay for the Jets.
I can agree with that. Because that's what it would take for me to go play for the Jets if I was Le'Veon Bell. So I can understand that. Like, you want to actually play for a winning organization, and if not, at least be compensated, you know, heavily for it. So I can understand
just
that.
All around.
Yeah, I mean, he could name his own price. I mean, NFL contract, but NFL contracts are partially guaranteed. So, you know, the signing bonus money and all that, that's what he really wants. Mm-hmm. They could throw out the $100 million and then he'd be off the team in 2 years. Yep. But Le'Veon Bell is the best running back in football.
40, $50 million up front, though.
Le'Veon is the best running back in football, so he deserves to be paid like it.
Yeah, dual threat for sure. I mean, he can do the most for you.
Yeah, he had some injuries and stuff like that too, but he's definitely
he's the top guy though.
Who's someone, on the other hand, who's someone that they would ask, that you think they would ask, like, no, this player doesn't deserve it?
I mean, there's a lot of players.
I'm saying, what's the first that comes to mind?
Garoppolo in the San Francisco.
Actually, I think he should have got paid that money he got. He just got that 5-year deal.
He's still a little new as far as
he went 5-0 with a team that was horrible.
But he could be pulling a Nick Foles where he falls off for a while and then maybe comes back.
Nah, I think Jimmy G is the real deal. I think Jimmy G is the real deal. I think, I guess you would have to say, like, whatever Kirk Cousins is about to get. Because Kirk Cousins never led his team to the playoffs. You know, Alex Smith at least has been to the playoffs and has some success.
But he's more of a game manager and all that.
Doesn't matter. He's gone to the playoffs with 2 different teams, and he's been there several times. Kirk Cousins hasn't even broken into the playoffs yet.
And it's tough for Alex Smith, too, because he's always had new offensive coordinators every year.
A lot of different coaches.
In San Fran, though, so, I mean, he can still sling it, and we've seen a little bit of that with the Chiefs.
Yeah, if you give him the weapons, I mean, Kirk Cousins had weapons last year. And he had great numbers on paper, but then when you look at the team, they can't make the playoffs. They can't win any important games. So,
well, here on Real Fans, Real Talk, we're always about them getting money. So there's really no answer for that. If you get that paycheck,
Whatever you
I love how you wrapped that up. That was
Get the check.
smooth.
Get the check.
Smooth.
I do. Before we run out of time, I do want to promote the film that you produced, the producing Chapter and Verse. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, Chapter and Verse, starring Daniel Beatty and Amari Hardwick for Power, directed by Jamal Joseph. Yeah, that was came in right before signed with the Giants. You know, we started that development of that film that summer, going into training camp and stuff like that. You know, really bringing in the Harlem culture and stuff like that, and getting acclimated to the city. You know, it was a great project. It's out on VOD and stuff like that right now. You should go check it out. Yeah.
You working on anything now? On the film side?
On the film side, doing a biography on Eddie Levert, the documentary, of the OJs. You know, so he has a great, compelling story. There's a couple other things that we have in the works as well. Right now, mainly getting that the fan stereo headphone line out and music distribution. So, yeah.
Also, because I know we run on a long time, but you do a lot of philanthropy work, and I know one of the things that we spoke about when we first met was the going over to rescue the kidnapped victims, and you said it cost about $400,000 to rescue one child from
it's Children's Rescue Alliance is the name of the organization, and they help with the facilitation of rescued trafficked kids. You know. It's a mad epidemic out there going across the whole country, and also being taken over international. And so it can cost up to $250,000 just to be able to rescue one of these kids with all the intel that goes into it, and fuel and some of the details. Yeah. But I mean it's one of those things to where just trying to do the most I can to help with that situation, being able to promote that, and just understanding how close it is and close to home it is to us. One kid goes missing every 10 minutes in the United States. Large sports venues like the Super Bowl and basketball games and stuff like that, kids are getting snatched up there too. Parents are out there having a good time. They lose their kids for 3 seconds. It only takes 3 seconds for the kid to go missing, and they're gone. So I mean, it's one of those things to where I just need to be more aware and attention, especially to the young parents out there. That think it's just all fun and games to have a kid, but there's a lot of responsibility that goes into it of taking care of kids and being able to understand the world that we live in. Not everyone is nice out there, unfortunately. But we all can do our part to be able to make that change.
Got you. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Thurman, we appreciate you for coming through today. We're going to have to get you back at some point, man. Make sure that you guys, y'all better get them fan stereo headphones. I'm telling you, they're on point. I wish I had my name in my pocket right now. I don't got time to run out and go get them. We might be able to get some. So we show y'all real quick. Hold on, we got someone said, come, hurry up. Come, bring it out. Let's show them real quick before we get up out of here. That's AO and Taylor with the rollies on and all that. Can we get a zoom in on one of these cameras real quick? Yeah. So
we'll sit some down, and y'all could do a raffle or some kind of little sweepstakes with some of the product line and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sounds good.
For different charities, great that you're involved in that, and hopefully we'll have you involved in some of our charity events in the future.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, we're actually working on some partnerships right now in the charity space with some big organizations out there, getting something to work with the AIDS Foundation and some other organizations. So. The whole company is about philanthropy. It's all about inspiring the youth and showing them, regardless of your background, you can achieve and inspire to be anything. That's the main focus at the end of the day. So, yeah.
All right. We'll end off with that because we're cutting the live feed in about 20 seconds. But we do appreciate having a Super Bowl champion. We had the heavyweight champion of the world, plenty of champions. First Super Bowl champion on Real Fans, Real Talk, and it was a pleasure having you. Yeah. Thank you for joining us on Real Fans, Real Talk, and have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
We out.
Face facts, what up? RealFansRealTalk.com, where Arthur Diamonds, Trip Young, and intern Tom. For the white and black fans, Asia to Manhattan. I get all my facts from my bro, Mark the Stats Man. If you're not tuned in, I recommend the CAT scan. And if your brain checks out, then you deserve a backhand. Sports, gossip, all the hot topics. RealFansRealTalk.com got it. They got the hottest bloggers.
Is Jeremy Lin hurt?
Well, log onto the site and you can hear it from them first. I'm talking about the latest. I'm talking about the greatest. Go check out the archives. Even tell a neighbor. Tell them about Bobby sent ya. From spring to winter, tuning in should be the only thing on your agenda. Certified cosign, you know what I'm about, son. Real fans, realtalk.com. I'm out one. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, realtalk.com. Real fans, realtalk.com. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, real talk. Real fans, realtalk.com.